Have you ever wondered why the tea bag was invented? Why your computer gets a virus every time you donate to the Catholic Church online? Or why, in some places, the term jackass is frowned upon? Get ready to play along at home and learn with us here on Fun Facts with
Kate.
So, you got to be the fortunate only person to actually be able to hear the first episode before you got to record. How does it feel to be in the select few group for the moment?
I'm pretty excited about it, honestly. I was very pumped when you were doing it because you just have like this very vibrant and wonderful personality. And this is definitely something that's like in your zone, you know?
Well, thank you very much. So you know vaguely how this works. I have 3 categories for you. Each category has 3 facts. Each category contains one of those facts as a lie. There is a hint per category and a 50-50 per game that you can just ask for whenever you'd like, but you only have one official guess per category. All right, so your 3 categories are history, which is the one category that I have pretty much the same across the board for everyone. Weird France, because I know you speak French and possibly have been to France?
Yep, I lived there for a year.
There you go. So why not throw some weird French facts in there for you? And then I have a potpourri category, so it's just random things that came out of my head or that I thought was interesting.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so which category would you like to start with today?
I think I'm going to start with, let's start with history. I'm fairly confident in a lot of history, so let's do that.
All right. So my 3 facts for you in history are: 1. 1,000 imposters once claimed to be Marie Antoinette's dead son. 2. Women were once banned from smoking in public. And 3. The government literally poisoned alcohol during Prohibition.
I think the first one is the lie. Am I wrong?
Well, are you sure? You do have the hint, and you have a couple of other things to work through, and you can talk through things if you like.
Okay. Well, I feel like in my French history classes, I would have learned about the Marie Antoinette situation there. And the second one does not sound out of character. Just because cigarettes were catered towards females when they did like come into popularity, you know, because they're like, oh, look at us, we're so bougie. And for the third one, that's one I'm not quite sure about, just because I don't think they poisoned it. I know there was a lot of like underground like smuggling and stuff, but I'm not sure. So I only get one 50-50 and one hint per round. Is that correct?
150-50 per game, but 1 hint per category.
Okay, sweet. Okay, I'll take a hint.
All right. So the hint for this is actually a bonus 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
The government did literally poison alcohol during Prohibition. During Prohibition in the United States, the U.S. government literally poisoned alcohol when people continued to consume it despite its banning. However, the poisoning did begin before Prohibition because they were trying to lessen the effects before Prohibition laws actually went into. But they ended up killing around 10,000 people. However, there is there's a Facebook thing going around right now that states that like that was their intent to kill people during the no, it wasn't their intent. They didn't even want to make people sick. It just happened on accident. They were hoping that word would spread that it had been poisoned before people were drinking it, but it did not. So people died.
I feel like that's not very cash money of the government to do that. What the heck?
Well, you know.
So I am even more certain that it's the first one. That is my final answer.
Okay, that is correct.
Yes! I knew it!
Only 100 people-ish after the French Revolution it claimed to be were imposters claiming to be Marie Antoinette's dead son. So it's only slightly a lie, because I said 1,000.
It's like half a lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 10 calories of a lie.
Yep. 8-year-old Louis XVII, so the 17th, was imprisoned, then never seen in public again. After his parents were executed, he was horribly abused and neglected and left in isolation in prison, and died in 1795 of tuberculosis. His body was buried in a secret mass grave. Years later, dozens of men came forward claiming to be him because the Bourbon Restoration, and it was a possibility to be a successful claimant, then they would find themselves on the throne, essentially. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, women were once banned from smoking in public. In 1908, a New Yorker, Kate McCulley, was actually arrested for striking a match against a wall and lighting a cigarette because of an ordinance that made it illegal. She actually went to court and argued that it was her right to be able to smoke a cigarette in public because men could. She was fined $5, and 2 weeks later, the Sullivan Ordinance was vetoed by then the mayor of New York.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So which category would you like to go to next? We have Weird France and Potpourri.
I'll do potpourri.
Potpourri? All right. Well, before we get there, what are you drinking, Kate?
I am drinking an iced coffee with a splash of soy, and are we surprised by that? Absolutely not.
I am not surprised by that at all. I am nursing 20 ounces of Red Bull because it's 9 a.m. and I haven't gotten up... before noon in the last 6 to 7 weeks. So I got up at 6 this morning just for you, and I have been working on this Red Bull since then. But it's 20 ounces of Red Bull, so I'm taking it slowly so I don't get jittery and weird throughout the day.
You're not messing around.
No, I am not.
That's beautiful.
All right. So my 3 facts that I have for you here in the potpourri category are... the first fact is a diplomat de Souza Mendes oh goodness, I can't speak today. It's because it's 9 a.m. Diplomat de Souza Mendes issued an estimated 30,000 Portuguese travel visas. 2, the tea bag was invented to make tea making easier for the ultra-rich. And 3, you are 3 times more likely to get a virus on your computer from a religious website than from a porn website.
All right. Could I have my hint, please?
This one is also a bonus 50-50 because the facts I pulled for your categories were just so far apart and out there that I couldn't connect them with any sort of fact. So it is true that you are 3 times more likely to get a virus on your computer from a religious website than from a porn website. According to Symantec, which owns Norton, the largest antivirus software in the world, porn sites rank at number 10th on most dangerous sites to visit, whereas theological sites rank in the top 5. Depending on the year, they can actually rank in the top 3.
Honestly, not surprised. Not surprised there. All right, so one was like the Visa one, right? And then what was the second one?
The
Sorry.
the tea bag was invented to make tea making easier for the ultra rich.
Hmm. Well, when did tea bags come into play? Because I know for like,
I can give you that answer if you want.
well, I'm assuming it was after, like in the 19th century, correct? Or was it earlier than that?
Later.
Okay. 20th century?
Yeah.
Because I used to use like little
Barely, but yeah.
blocks of tea.
Yeah. It was 1908. So barely the 20th
Okay.
century, but
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, no, because I know that they used to use like those little blocks instead of like actual tea bags, and then like for the Boston Tea Party, that's what they were like thrown into the harbor, were those like bricks of tea.
and that brick was like, a year's worth of tea for most families, yeah.
Yeah. Dang. Was it like, okay, so with that, so were they the tea leaves, were they like ground down, and then like did you just like mix it into your hot water, or did you like put it on a spoon and let it like seep and then you would take it out, or how did that work?
It was actually a bag with a string that you would put in your teapot and pour water over.
No, the bricks?
Oh, the bricks. Yeah, no, you would it was essentially potato peelers. It was like a potato peeler. You scraped X amount of it off into your teapot, and then you poured the boiling water over it. And then there was you can still find them now, but it looks like a sieve or a strainer that's about the size
Okay,
of
so
a
there was a
spoon.
strainer.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's about the size of a spoon, and you put that over your teacup, and then you pour the tea into it, and then it
Okay.
catches anything that goes out of the pot.
That's so cool. I was wondering, because I was like, is it like, are the tea leaves still like in a good chunk? Were they like ground down into like almost a powder, so wouldn't it be really like noticeable? But that makes a lot more sense when you explain it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, I'm gonna go with A. I think that's my final answer.
All right. So that is actually incorrect.
Damn it!
That's okay. You still have another category.
Okay.
Diplomat de Souza Mendes did issue an estimated 30,000 Portuguese travel visas. He issued them in 1940 as a way to help Jewish families escape persecution from the Nazis.
Oh.
Once his supporters had learned of his action, his superiors had learned of his action, he was ordered back to Portugal and dismissed from office and denied his pension benefits. De Souza Mendes went on to die in 1945, impoverished and unsung. So most people don't even know that he did it. So fun fact that this really cool guy saved approximately 30,000 people from the war.
That's amazing. What the heck?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How did I not know that?
The false answer is that the tea bag was invented to make tea making easier for the ultra rich. It was actually an accident. This occurred in 1908 when a tea merchant, Thomas Sullivan, was distributing tea samples in small silken bags. His customers, not understanding that these were samples meant to be poured out into your pot and then water over them and strained, dunked them in their pots, and suddenly Sullivan was swamped for orders for his tea bags. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Happy little accidents,
Right?
just like Bob Ross taught us.
Absolutely. Other fun fact, Bob Ross's hair wasn't naturally like that. It was actually straight. He got it he got it permed into that afro, so that way he could go without getting haircuts for longer while he was traveling and things, doing these classes and doing his films for the television show. And and he actually hated his hair up in an afro, but he kept it because by the time that he was going to get rid of it, it had already become a part of his brand. So
I feel lied to, and as someone with very curly hair, I don't like that. Dang, Bob Ross out here lying to us all.
Well, it happens every now and then.
That's fair. Guess I shouldn't be surprised. Alright, hit me with the weird français.
None of this is going to be spoken in French because I don't know how to pronounce anything. So, fact number 1. It is illegal to slander donkeys. Fact number 2. Champagne glasses are modeled on Marie Antoinette's breast. And fact number 3. Female impotence was a crime.
Champagne flutes, right?
No, the champagne flute was actually invented in America later. The traditional champagne glass is also known as a coupe, C-O-U-P-E, and is kind of squat round. It looks...
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like if you know that like margarita where it's shaped like an upside down sombrero.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to cut off that bottom part and just slightly round up the top part a little bit more, that's what a champagne glass traditionally looks like.
Okay. That's why I wanted to ask, because I was like, no way in hell is anyone's titty shaped like a frickin' champagne flute.
Yeah, no. Not a champagne flute. Champagne flutes weren't invented until much later.
Okay. I'll do my 50-50.
All right. So, the 50-50 is champagne glasses were actually modeled after Marie Antoinette's breast, according to legend. A legend has it that the classic champagne glass, or coupe, was adapted from a wax mold of the left breast of Marie Antoinette. Rather more likely, albeit prosaic, the theory of the coupe was designed for sparkling wine in England around 1663, and thus predated both Champagne and Marie Antoinette by almost a century. The story is inspired by the sculptor Jane McAdam Freud inspired the sculptor Jane McAdam Freud to design a champagne flute molded in that fashion, modeled on Kate Moss's left breast. So there is actually a champagne flute modeled on a breast, but it's not Marie Antoinette's. But according to legend, the Marie Antoinette is the correct one.
So spicy.
So, the reason I pulled that one out instead of either of the other two is because that one's not the false one, though it is technically false, but it is more fun that it has a true legend sort of behind it.
Mm-hmm. It's like I said, it's like the diet soda of lies.
Yeah. Yep. So, but there is actually a false one amongst the other two. So it's illegal to slander donkeys, and female impotence was a crime.
Number 1. That's my final answer.
Am I
wrong?
Are you sure?
I am sure.
Are you sure you don't want the hint?
Okay, give me the hint.
2 of these things involve Jack, the other's a glass boob.
Wait, how's that? Wait, what?
Well, don't slander the donkeys involves calling donkeys jackass, or calling someone a jackass.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other thing that could involve Jack?
I feel like I'm just so naive that I'm not connecting the dots. Now you're having me doubt, because I was rocking it. I was fairly certain.
I mean, that's about all I can give you, unfortunately.
I'm gonna go with my original answer, which is number 1, because if I do the last one and it ends up being not the right one, I will never live it down. So if I'm wrong, I'm proudly wrong.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. That is incorrect.
You were trying so hard to have me be right, Boy, I was so stubborn. But at least I'm proudly wrong.
Contrary to their reputation for indifference to the animals, contrary to their reputation for indifference to animals, the French can be extraordinarily caring to them. In the Breton village of Saint-Longueur-de-Prix? Sure, we'll go with that. For example, it is illegal to slander donkeys by use of such terminology as jackass or dumbass. Anybody breaking this law is required to make amends by offering apologies in the form of carrots or sugar lump to the donkeys residing within the boundaries of the commune.
That's so nice.
The law was introduced in 1991 by then mayor of the town, who was inordinately fond of donkeys.
What the fuck?
Yep. And then the false one is, it is not female impotence that was a crime, but male impotence that was a crime.
I knew it was male, so I just assumed it was both.
Nope.
Dang it.
During the late 16th and 17th centuries in France, male impotence was considered a crime, as well as grounds for legal divorce. Men accused of impotence by their wives were required to demonstrate evidence to the contrary by standing to attention and ejaculating before an expert panel of clergymen and physicians. Not surprising, many gentlemen failed this audition. There were, however, a second chance. Should one wilt under scrutiny, they could request trial by Congress, which entitled the husband and wife to perform sex before the judges. The practice was declared obscene and banned in 1677.
Yeah, well, for good reason. I'm just gonna say, if you're ejaculating in front of a bunch of other guys, that's pretty gay. But in, like, the fondest way possible of saying, like, why? That's insane. I didn't know that part. I knew the first part.
So, unfortunately, you didn't win the chance to bring your own facts next time. However, you do get to come back on the show, and I get to try and stump you again. So you do have the opportunity to still win to bring your own facts on. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Everything I wanted, because I am super competitive, and I am disappointed in myself. I started strong, and I just fell down the rabbit hole.
Well, I mean, my goal is always to try and push my friends in the right direction, and you just didn't want any of the pushing, so.
I was so stubborn.
I want all my friends to win.
Aw, you're so nice. And then here I am, just being a stubborn jackass, being like, no, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
When it gets to the future, when I start, if this blows up enough to where I get to start having strangers on the podcast, preferably semi-famous strangers, then I might not be as nice to them because I'm not sure I necessarily want semi-famous strangers to win, but I definitely want my friends to win, so.
Oh, look at you. And
Yeah.
I just, set myself up for failure.
It's okay.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Well,
thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on the show. We're still going to talk for a minute if you have the time. Because I need content to, unedited upload to Patreon, so, yeah.
Patreon.
This show is recorded, produced, directed, and edited by Connor J. Cassidy, with music by Sounds Like Sanders. Our podcast is hosted on podserve.fm, and our music was found via soundstripe.com. Please follow us on all social media at funfactswith, and if you like the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, have a nice day.